And welcome back, true believers. This is Ranger J 1999 from Team Instinct from the Reality Skewed Gamers, and welcome back to another show where we break down all the new aspects of the game for new players. This is our new player weekly series that we are doing. I want to welcome you all in the chat to the show, and of course, joining me on this epic journey is Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman. Dr. Finn, what's going on, man?
Good afternoon and good morning and good evening to everybody.
Yeah, it's something somewhere, right?
Yes, it's something somewhere.
And welcome back. Sorry, I had to. My phone just caught up to where we are. I was like, wait, what's that? Like, no.
I did that too on the first day.
I know. I wasn't paying attention. Usually I have the phone ready set up and everything, but oops. I'm professional. But welcome, everybody. So this, if you're not familiar, what we've been doing this week is we've been doing daily streams during lunch, a little lunchtime streaming action for you, where we just kind of cover and break everything down for new players. You know, one of the things that we've been getting a ton of is that new players are kind of just overwhelmed and lost, and we're kind of giving you direction and purpose and breaking down everything that's in the game as updated as it is to kind of tell you what does what, why this is the way it is, who you should be farming, why you shouldn't do this, and to kind of help you guys out. And that's the biggest thing. So if you're a new player, let us know in chat. And if you got questions, by all means, let us know in chat. And if you see this later on, then, you know, we have a link to the Discord that we're in, and you can come in there and ask all the questions you want. We got a really amazing community from people from all over that'll be more than glad to help you out. And that's what the purpose of this is. So everybody, thank you for being in chat. We got quite a lot of people in chat like we usually do, and glad to have you. Finn, what's on the agenda today, partner?
All right, so we've kind of started off this week. We're working from right to left in the cantina. So things that we've covered so far are the Shard Store, ships, Galactic War, Arena, all of the different combat tables, the stores, the regular shipments. So we've gone through a lot of different things. Just so you all are aware, at the end of this week, once we've done all 5 days, we'll compile all of these different videos into one kind of longer encyclopedic video that'll be kind of your full guide from front to end, from beginning to end, of everything you want to know as a newer player. We'll add bookmarks in the description of that video so you guys can go to whatever section that you want to discuss about. So we'll definitely start to compile this together. Give us a little bit of time to do that, since it will be about 5 hours of content, actually more, because we've been going about an hour and a half every day. So it'll be close to like 8 hours of content that we'll be kind of putting together, trying to trim it down and make it so you guys have one video that you can refer to. This one will hopefully last for a while. One of the things that we always mention is when you go on YouTube and you search for the different videos, it's important that you look at when the videos came out. Some of the content has really changed, especially in the last few months. There's been a lot of changes to things that are in game. Even something as simple as the stores that we've been showing you, there have been changes to some of them. Yeah. And so always make sure that you look at the date and you can see whether or not this is newer content, whether it's something like a year old. I would be weary of anything more than about 3 months old. If it's more than 3 months old, then chances are that I would say maybe about 40% of the material is going to be a little bit outdated, and your best way of getting information is actually looking in the videos, whether it's us at Reality Skewed Gamers, whether it's some of the game changers like Crazy Excuses or Warrior or Arnold or whoever you're looking at. They usually have a link to their Discord in their video descriptions as well, so you guys can go there and talk to us. RSG has a very lively community, so you guys can definitely get your answers and stuff there. So always be careful about when you're looking for videos for guidance. Make sure that it's the most recent ones.
Yes.
But we will now continue our quest through the cantina and work our way from right to left. And so the next thing we're going to start off with today is going to be the challenges.
Oh.
Now, what are challenges? Challenges is essentially free stuff. That is what it is. There are two different.
Well, you have to unlock it.
You have to earn your free stuff.
Yeah, you have to earn it.
Yes.
Don't just be telling free stuff, Finn. You're gonna get us in trouble.
Well, it is free.
Oh, you're gonna get us in trouble again, Finn.
I am always getting us in trouble. So there are two types of challenges in this, and one of them is going to be gear based, and the other one is going to be for some other aspect of the game. And that one is going to be a rotation of ability mats, training droids, and credits. Now, those 3 will occur 3 times during a week. They rotate every 3 days, except for Sunday, where all 3 of them will be available for you. Same thing with the gear challenges. There are TAC gear challenges, which is they all kind of vary a little bit on the type of gear. They've been changed in name. They used to be TAC changed from intelligence. So if you're some of the older players, you may have seen like the intelligence stat. But this is now TAC, which is for tactics. So it's going to be for it'll be gear that you'll see more on characters that require tactics as their kind of primary ability. The other one is agility, and the other one is strength. So again, these will rotate every 3 days. And on Sunday, all of them will show up. So on Sunday, for your regular challenges, you will have 6 different challenges to do. The gear challenges actually have 5 attempts in a day. The ability, the training droid, and the credits will have 3 every day.
Right.
So in total, you will have 8 different challenges that you can do. At lower levels, the refresh timer on those abilities will be 10 minutes. Once you hit max level, or somewhere in between there, it'll switch to 2. So just keep an eye out on the cooldown timer for your challenges. They do go down to 2 minutes once you get to a higher level.
Should I do a battle for one of these so they can see it? All right.
Yeah. So we mentioned allies the other day. The gear challenges will require 5 characters, and they do not use allies. So you will be required to use your 5 characters in order to do this. Now, did you start the combat yet, Ranger?
No.
Okay. So when you go into a challenge, there are 3 different tabs that are at the top. And one of them is going to be critical for you guys to pay attention to. So there's the details, which will tell you about what the different tiers of the challenge will give you, whatever you have available to you. The other tab is possible rewards. You'll be able to see all of the different gear that you can get from this. Now, a change from what it used to be, now each level that goes higher actually has better gear than the previous one. Wasn't always this case. It used to be different gear. So sometimes you might have been better off doing a lower tier. Good thing for new players that are starting out. It's very easy now. You always do the highest tier that you can. And each one will incrementally get you more information or more gear for your characters. And again, if you're looking at the gear, you'll see that some of them have the little green dot in the upper right corner of their icons. And that means that there is at least one character that can utilize this in order to gear up that is eligible. So if you click on it, you'll be able to see all the different characters that have at least one gear piece at their current gear level that you can upgrade if you get these items to whatever number that is required. And the last one, which is required units. Now, what's important about the required units is we discussed previously characters having different classifications. So when you go into the character screen, under their name, there are different things like light side, dark side, their faction, like bounty hunter, Jedi, whatever it is. There's also another one that either a character is an attacker, a support character, a tank, or a healer. These gear challenges will actually require characters based on that last classification. So this tactics one, you will see, requires tank characters. So all of the characters that you currently see under the required characters tab are all of the tank characters in your roster. So you will be able to go into this required units tab, see what the characters are that you have with the highest power, and then those are the ones that likely you will want to use because they are your strongest characters. Different challenges will require different things. So, for example, the bounty hunters will require, I believe it's the agility one. Yeah, the agility one will require support and healers, and then the strength one requires attackers. And so you always want to make sure you're kind of looking at that. The other 3, so the bounty hunter, which is the credits, the training droid challenge, and the ability match challenge, those all will allow you to use anything in your roster as well as one additional ally. So you'll be able to use an ally in order to help you with those. It does help, again, to have a strong ally. This is similar to what you get on the tables. So if you do not 3-star the challenge, you cannot use your sim ticket on it to do it automatically, so you'll have to do it manually. But especially at the beginning, you want to try and save up those sim tickets because you'll want to use them on days where maybe you don't have enough time to manually do all of your different battles. So try and save your sim tickets. It's very easy at the beginning to get into the mindset of just going ahead and trying to sim everything, but you are much better off saving it. So on those days where you really can't do all the different battles that you need to, you have those stocked up because you will run out of them early game. Late game, you will have more than enough. So try and save them, especially early. The gear challenges, they can be fairly difficult. They all have a little bit of strategy to them, depending on which ones you're doing. It's slightly different. The fact that you can only use tank characters, the fact that you can only use attacking, or you can only use support and healing characters, all provides a different strategy, which actually teaches you a little bit about the characters and their abilities. So take all of these as a learning experience. Again, we're not going to go into too much detail on how to beat each of the different challenges, but if you are having difficulty, hop on to the RSG Discord and we can help you through the different challenges. Each one, again, has a little bit of a different nuance to it. It'll vary a little bit based on whatever characters you have as well and how to kind of work through them. But they are things that you want to make sure you do every single day. They do not require energy, so that is why I was saying that they're essentially free. You get the attempts each day automatically. It doesn't require energy, so you just go in there, you do it, you wait for the cooldown to go down, and then you go ahead and do your next attempts.
Yep, and I just showed the 2 battles, one for the gear, and one I'm doing one now for the other one. So
Perfect.
we're fighting Darth Vader, kicking his butt.
All right, I think
that covers the challenges pretty well.
Yeah, that covers the challenges. We'll go into the mod battles and challenges next. Now, we're going to go over this very, very briefly. Mods is a very in-depth aspect of this game. It's almost like a game within a game at some point because mods can really help differentiate you, especially in Arena.
Oh, boy, do they ever.
And we have other modding guides out there. We have information about how you mod characters and how to actually utilize the mods maximally. What we're going to just go over today, though, is what the mods are and what you are looking for as you're doing these. Okay. So the mods are all together. You'll see that there's mod challenges and mod battles kind of near the weird aardvark looking dude. And they have
the weird aardvark looking dude. I think that's his official name now.
Yes, weird aardvark looking dude. That is his name. And actually that works. His name is Wald. And so near Wald, we have the battles and we have the challenges. Battles are going to be similar to your Cantina battles. So there are tables. Each table will have different levels. Each level will be associated with a different set of mods. So the first one is going to be based on health set mods. Now, mods you can place up to 6 mods onto a character. There are 6 different shapes. So the different shapes are the square, which will go into the top left. You have the arrow, which goes into the top right. You have the diamond, which goes into the middle left. You have the triangle, which goes into the middle right. You have the plus sign, which goes into the bottom left. And you have the plus sign goes into the bottom right, and the circle that goes into the bottom left. There is this last one on the level that is basically just kind of an empty type of icon. Right. And that means that you have a random you have a chance of getting a random shape. So whenever you see these on the mod tables, the shapes will represent where they're going to go. And if you see that kind of card the outline of like a data card with a symbol inside of it, like you see in the 1G battle. That one is going to be a random mod shape of the health set type. And as you go through the different levels, so you'll see health is level 1, defense is level 2, critical damage is 3, critical chance is 4, so on and so forth. One of the questions that I see T McVenom asking is what mod challenges should be.
Did you say just T McVenom?
Her name is T McVenom in the chat. I'm reading it as it. So what T McVenom is asking is what mod challenges should be a priority to unlock.
That's a great question.
It's going to sound a little bit.
Let's go to mod. That's a great question because mod challenges. So we've got the mod battles, and you want to do.
And so one thing about the mod battles, by the way, then we can jump into the mod challenges here. Mod battles, the mods can go anywhere from 1 dot to 5 dot. It's kind of the equivalent of the stars of a character, right? Where there's 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, all the way up to 7 star. In mod battles, you can only get a maximum of up to 2 dots.
Right.
The maximum is a 5 dot. So you can only get 3 dot and 5 dots by either buying them from the mod store or by doing these mod challenges.
Right.
So that'll now transition us to the mod challenges and figuring out which one, why you would want a particular mod challenge and why not. I'll let you take it first, Ranger.
Okay, so what you'll notice that there's all the battles. These are for 3 dot. 4 dot, 5 dot mods. I don't know. Do you get? Yeah, I think you can get 1 or 2 dot mods from this, but it's random, right? If you go in and look at the possible rewards, I think it's any level, right? No, it's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I think at the lower tiers, there's 3 tiers to each battle, right? Like for the first tier, I'm in the speed mods. You can see it's 1, 2, and 3. Then it goes 2, 3, 4. For the next tier for tier 2, and then for tier 3, it's 3, 4, 5. You want to get to the max tier. However, you should notice something. The battles for the top tier for each battle cost 16 Cantina energy. So farming mods is a it's a long endeavor.
Yes.
And this is going to be the same for no matter which one of the mod challenges that you go into. Now, you'll notice that there's for each type of mod. You've got your health, you've got your defense, you've got your critical damage, and so forth and so on. The thing is, you need specific teams to, as we said, do this. Now, the good thing is, now when we first started, health mods are always a good choice, but you can use any character for this. So if you have 5 star, all the characters need to be is 5 star or higher, right? It's to unlock this. So for health mods, you can go in with any team, right? And you can get your health mods. Health mods, they're good. They're good to start off with. And you can get some and some characters really do need health. If you're running a Zera's team later on, you want health mods. They're really good to have for someone that uses and heals health. So this is the one that you can use any character with. After that, defensive mod, take 5 Jedi, 5 star or higher. Critical damage, take 5 Jawas, 5 star or higher. Critical chance mods, take 5 Scoundrels or higher. Tenacity is 5 Rebels or higher. First Order is for offense. Empire is for potency. And then speed mods is your resistance team. Okay? So what this is kind of forcing you to do as you start progressing in the game is you're going to need these different types of teams, right? To unlock these mods. Now, the question is to you, Finn, which teams should they focus in on first? We already know that we've got a Phoenix team that we told you to go, to farm first. So that will, if you look at it, if you have Phoenix, you're gonna have health mods, right? If you're farming the stars and everything. So when this opens up, you'll be able to start getting mods for health mods for the different levels and tiers and stuff. And it'll also open up the tenacity mods, which for only rebels. And since Phoenix are all rebels, you can do that. Now, Finn, what should they do next? Where should they go? What should new players be doing after that, especially dealing with mod challenges? Because different sets of mods give you different sets of abilities and stuff. So what should they be doing?
So, honest answer, when you're starting out really early, none. Your regular characters that you are going to be farming will unlock the health mod set.
Right.
Health mods are very useful at the beginning. They're pretty much kind of the universal stick it onto a character and it can help your character type of mod. So doing those can really help. Now, here are some of the other little things that we're working on, right? We mentioned yesterday that you can work on Phoenix as your first squad. They should be your first characters that you are working on. This will unlock your rebels. But tenacity mods are not all that useful. So you can go ahead and do them the first time in order to kind of get your free first time completion mods and then leave it alone. Tenacity mod challenge is not something you really need, especially in high quantities early on. They might have some specialized uses at higher end content, not early game. The other one, the ones that we said do second, were Scoundrels. Scoundrels can give you critical chance mods. Critical chance mods have a little bit more of a benefit, but again, so this one may vary. So Ranger, you may disagree with me on this one. So again, one of the things is that you'll also get different opinions from who you talk to. So I know what I'm about to say, that there are some people that disagree with me. So I'll kind of put that out there right now. But this is from my perspective. Mod challenges are not terribly useful at the beginning. Here's the major problem with mod challenges.
It's not till later. I agree with you on that. It's later on. I mean, we mentioned the 6 different mods, right? If you can open up a character really quick, Ranger, and just show the little mods area. The mods, there are 6 mods. We said that there is a left column and a right column. Now, here is the major problem with the mod challenges. Unlike mod battles, where you could fight a particular battle in order to get a particular shape mod, mod challenges is always going to be a random shape. So when you go in there, you have to go with the full intention that your initial battles are going to get you just some random shape mods. You do not want to be doing mod challenges early, chasing a particular shape and chasing a particular stat. If you start doing that, you are going to waste a lot of Cantina energy, and you really need, especially as a new player, to start using your Cantina energy in order to get different characters up to 7-star. So what you want to avoid doing is using mod challenges to chase a particular mod shape. So by that, the best thing to do is once you get your characters eligible to do your health mod challenge, which will be after you complete your first battles of the mod battle table. So you have to do the mod battles, complete a floor, then you can go into the mod challenges, and then you can do those challenges. Right.
Once you complete the first level of your mod battles and you complete the health one, you can go ahead and do mod challenges until your 5 main characters, which should be Phoenix, all have at least, how do I put this? You want to make it so you will not waste any mods if it comes out of the mod challenges. Right. So to clarify what I'm saying here is just so you're not getting confused. When you look at that mod card on a character, the probability is higher that you will get one of the mod shapes on the left. So either the square, the diamond, or the circle.
Right.
You have a higher chance of getting those shapes than you do the mods on the right column. The mods on the right column actually have stats that are beneficial more so than the ones on the left. The primary stat on the left for the mods are pretty much the same for all mods. The ones on the right vary a lot. And so what you want to avoid doing is chasing those mods on the right column if all of your characters already have something on the left. So when you are modding up your Phoenix for the first time, you can go ahead and do your mod challenges until the left column for all of your Phoenix characters is filled up. The second your left column for all of your Phoenix characters, which will be your first squad, is filled up, you will have obtained some on the right side, but then stop doing your mod challenges for your health. Because at that point, you are going to get mods that will be used on other characters in your squads, which is fine. But if you use them on your other characters, you're not really using it for your arena, and you have better purposes for your Cantina energy than just getting mods for secondary, tertiary, and the fourth level characters that you have on your roster.
Right.
Then, once you fill up those, then you can go over to the mod battles and do battles for the particular shapes that you need. Now, one of the things that people will disagree on, and this is where it comes down to, is there really isn't much. I mean, there is a difference between the Mark V and the Mark I mods, and there's a difference between the Mark V and the Mark II. And you get the Mark I and Mark II, or the 1 dot and 2 dot mods, from mod battles. But early on, there is not a huge difference to the point where you need to waste your Cantina energy.
No.
There are particular staff that you should be looking for. So, for example, on the Arrow mod, you can do your mod battles on the Arrow mod. It will cost you less Cantina energy than the mod challenges. You will also be getting the specific shape that you are chasing. And then the only thing you are chasing is the primary stat. So you can always get like 19 speed and stick it on your character early on. Now, whether or not you want to go heavy into mods is up to you. You can really boost your arena squad if you want. But you don't want to waste too much energy on your early mods, because then you will delay all of the different characters that you need in Cantina.
Right, because the thing that you have to understand is mods are an end game thing, right? So as you're leveling up and stuff, you're going to go back to mods, right? And there's more in depth into this plan and strategy of how you want to attack and get more mods, right? We're just trying to get you a quick way to get mods on your character just so you can be using mods, right? You don't want to chase stats and anything. You're going to eventually get to a point where you're taking time to farm mods. You're going to need higher end mods. You're going to need them not only for your characters for arena, but you're going to need them also because mods have an effect on your characters, which also has an effect on your ship PvP battle, right? This is all end game stuff. The reason Finn is saying what he's saying is because you just want to get mods on your characters. Now, if you happen to get, you open the health mods and you're farming and you get some arrows like you're seeing I'm get, great, use them. There's not saying you can't, but once you've gone through that initial push to get those left side mods and you're missing, say, like a triangle or you're missing a square, just go use 10 energy, because again, you're trying to farm characters in the beginning. You're trying to build your roster. I mean, take a moment and think about this for a second. Look at just alone the mod challenges themselves. You want these challenges because some of these sets give you huge bonuses and advantages with your mods, right? You just saw the one that I had up with Han Solo. Well, to do that, you're going to need characters. So there's a domino effect to this, right? When you first start off, you get some mods, get some health mods, put them on your characters, great, right? Now, of course, we've always said if you want to spend money, you can go buy a bunch of mods and you'll be great. But this way, for a free-to-play player, then you can start working on getting your other characters up for your teams. Scoundrel would be the next one you work on, so you get critical chance. Then you can work on something else. I would, you can work on Empire because you're going to need some evil bad guys. You can do potency mods. Potency mods are really good. And then you work your way from there, farming the different groups and attacking them one at a time so that you can have all the teams that you need. Remember, you only need them 5-star. These are not 7-star characters that you need to unlock to do the challenges. So you have to attack this very strategically and tactfully, right? If you focus so much on mods that you get behind on characters, well, if you want to farm health mods to your blue in the face, great. But now you put yourself behind, because now you still need to farm characters using your Cantina energy to unlock some of these other better sets of mods. I mean, health mods are important, but there's some other ones in here. Critical damage, critical chance. I mean, offensive mods are great. Potency mods, especially speed mods. I mean, these are things that you need. Plus, these are characters that you'll need for ships and other things. So, again, your priority as a new character or as a new player is characters. You need tunes, not just for the mod challenges, but for other things moving forward too. So don't get too enamored with doing mods. Okay, this is more of a late late game thing. Use lower end mods when you're first starting. If that's what especially if you're free to play, get mods on them, but then don't worry about it. They just help your character, but until you really get to that 85 level and you're trying to do, really pick up the pace, that's when you start worrying about these higher end mods and getting these challenges completed.
And the other thing with that too is make sure that you want to take a look at what you are competing against. So if you talk to some of the people that are that have played this game for a very long time, right? One of the biggest issues is that the meta is not changing in Arena. So when the meta is not changing in Arena, that means that the teams that are being used to get to the top of Arena, which again is your top priority in terms of getting your characters and gear, getting up to that is essentially the same character. So you have your same characters and you're trying to maximize that. Right now, especially if you're just starting, the Commander Luke event is probably going to come up probably towards the end of this month. We're guessing kind of with Christmas, and hopefully they'll be nice and give it to us. But new players are still going to have a very hard time of getting Commander Luke Skywalker, who is the meta-changing character. They're going to have a very hard time unless they spend a lot of money. Now, unless you are spending a lot of money as well to get all of those characters, you're not going to be competing against those people. So you don't want to compete against those people, right? You want to use the line from Kevin Hart, you want to stay in your lane.
Vobo just put in there, let me ask you this. Is a critical damage triangle yellow mod with a speed secondary worth 3,600 crystals? I would say almost definitely yes.
No.
I would say definitely not. What are you?
No.
What?
100% no.
Hold on. You don't ever, let me make this very clear. There's another place you can get mods we haven't got to yet. Mods Store.
That's what he's referring to.
Right. You see this here? Yeah, it's got a 5 secondary. First, it doesn't have a primary speed, but 3,600 crystals for a mod. Do not ever use crystals in here. I don't care what the mod says in here.
Unless you're like a super whale and you have extra.
By all means, you buy whatever you like. You go for it. The only time I've ever gotten mods out of here where it is a primary stat that is really fantastic and it's got a secondary speed and it's like 3 million credits. Once in a while, I've done that because I'm missing. It's specifically one for one I need to finish a set, and it was better than the mod I had. But you don't ever want to spend crystals. 3,600 crystals for a mod? Absolutely not. Think about what you could do with 3,600 crystals in this game for farming aspects and other things.
And let's just think about, for example, right, what you are giving up if you are doing this. So let's just assume that you spend 3,600 on that crystal that Ranger has, that arrow crystal that has a speed secondary, right? Now, how does leveling up of a mod work? Every 3 levels, you will be able to either add a secondary or increase a secondary that's already there, right? So you have now spent 3,600 crystals in order to buy this mod that has 1 speed secondary as its particular secondary stat. You can level up a secondary ability 4 times. So
no guarantee that it'll go up either.
And each secondary stat on a quality A, which is that yellow color, means that there's already 4 secondary stats already there. You have a 25% chance in order to level up that mod. Now, you have a 25% chance the first time. You have a 25% chance the second time. You have a 25% chance the third time and a 25% chance the fourth time. Now, you are now spending, let's just assume for the most part, right, a mod that has plus 10. Nah, plus 10 is kind of, well, we'll go double digits, right?
Yeah, say plus 10.
Plus 10 has you have a 25% chance of getting that secondary mod to plus 10. Plus 10, in all honesty, isn't that huge to begin with. But let's just assume even 25% chance. You are now spending 3,600 crystals in order to get a 25% chance of a semi-usable mod. Meanwhile, you could always do refreshes in different areas of the game. So we're going to discuss where you can spend crystals as it is. So crystals, the best way to spend them is spending them on your energy. Now, why do you spend it on energy? reason to spend it on energy is because you want to get up to the max level as fast as you can. Now, when you get up to the max level as fast as you can, the best way to do it is to do refreshes of energy, because every point of energy that you spend, whether it's Cantina energy or regular energy, gives you 1 extra point of XP. For regular energy, which is your best one early on, you can do 50 crystals and get a refresh, which then gives you 120 more experience every single time. So if you are able to do 3 refreshes, which is 150 crystals, you can get 360 extra experience every single day. Then if you, more likely than not, you're not going to have an income that goes over 150 crystals a day. So first off, storing up 3,600 crystals is going to take you way too long. If you are not spending your crystals early on, then you are not progressing in this game. You're going to fall behind.
Right.
And if you are spending money in this game and you're saving it in order to buy a mod, then you are going to fall behind again, because that is a really bad waste of money in this game. So early on, if you somehow have 3,600 crystals, the worst thing you can do is spend it on mods, because you're going to waste it. Just throwing that out there. You're not going to generate enough income in crystals in order to justify 3,600 on any mod early game. Now remember, again, this is designed for new players, players that are still like level 60 or below. So a lot of the people that are talking in the chat, I see it right now, you're thinking about a free-to-play player that has played in this game for a while. A new player that spends money on mods is going to fall behind. The meta is changing too frequently on Arena. You are not going to get into a good guild if you don't have the versatility of characters to compete in raids. You are definitely going to have a much harder time to get into a really good guild if you don't have certain characters that are required in things like territory battles. You are going to set your roster behind. There are other ways to boost your Arena stats besides just getting super high level mods.
And some teams, you know, people get stuck on speed. Speed is not the be-all, end-all for arena mods, right? Mm-hmm. Certain characters do not need speed; they need other stats. Or, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You know,
and it's a rock paper scissors game too in right. Squad Arena. You don't necessarily have to go rock against rock and try to be the bigger rock. You can always be the paper that beats the rock, and somebody else may have the scissors. And if they have the scissors, then you go with your rock. That is what diversity of your roster will provide you. And diversity of roster will allow you to participate in more aspects of the game and not leave you stuck in one aspect.
Right.
We emphasize the importance of Arena, but there are a lot of other things in the game, and we're focusing on Arena, but we're not trying to distract you from building up the rest of the things.
You're going to get, if you farm mods enough, and the best way to farm it is like this. You spend the first 10 days of the month, each month, farm mods, right? And the way you do it is pick one, farm it till you get a speed arrow, move on to the next one, right? And you're not farming each area, you're just farming the areas that you need, right? Do that for 10 days. Then the rest of the time you use your Cantina energy on a character, right? Until it's unlocked. That's your best way to farm mods. And that's from Warrior and Grande. You know, this is the way that you do it. You eventually get to the point where you're just farming mods just so you can see if you can get better mods once in a while, especially once you get most of your characters unlocked. You know, that's a great way to get into a groove of mods. Some of the best mods I've never bought. I got them from just farming. Right? You're going to get them. Now, you'll have to commit, but you can still get a character, which is if you're using your Cantina. I'm not saying if you're using any crystal refreshers or anything. If you just farm mods, right? Maybe use a refresh or something. That's how that works. There are ways to go about it to where, and then, you know, all the 2, 3, 4 dot mods, maybe you sell them, you get more cash. It's a cycle that you get into, which we kind of break down in our mod video. But I'm saying that there's a better way to get mods overall in the long term that'll have better stats instead of spending 3,600 crystals.
Yeah. You can, however, buy mods for credits.
Yeah, that's different.
So there is a value, even as a new player with certain focus, that you can buy mods for the newer player with credits. Now, how do you go about this? When you are leveling up, you're going to spend credits on a few different things. You always want to try and make sure that your arena squad is maxed out in level. So anytime you move up a level, if you go from 61 to 62, you want to make sure you spend the credits in order to get your characters from level 61 to 62. outside of your arena, your characters for your light side battles, your characters for your dark side battles, and light side should overlap again with your arena.
Right.
And your dark side, which is going to be a little bit different. Your scoundrels for your credit heist, which will be a little bit different. You're going to have some characters for your challenges, like your tanks and your attacks and your supporters. But between your dark side and your light side and your scoundrels, you should have enough characters overlapping with those other areas in order to have a few characters that you are trying to keep maxed up in credits. You will get a decent amount. It's not a lot. You won't get a super huge amount of extra credits, but you will have enough credits to kind of keep certain characters maxed out, especially your arena characters. And those other characters may fall behind by about 5 levels, and you can still kind of keep pace with the rest of your roster. As you are doing this, you can start accumulating credits. One of the worst things you can do early on is think that your entire roster has to be leveled up.
No.
That will spread your entire resources way too thin. You will have a bunch of mediocre characters, which will not help you, instead of some weak characters, but some really strong characters, and those strong characters having a major purpose in the evolution of your collection. And so, as you are leveling up, you keep your focus on your arena characters, you level up those smaller characters. And then, if you want to, if you are in a squad arena where everything is getting competitive and you really want to focus on it, while it may not be the best use of your credits, you can buy certain mods from your mod shipments that are 4 credits. Now, you want to be restrictive on which ones you are using, okay? There is one in particular that you will want to focus on, and that is the arrow with a speed primary.
Yes.
And doesn't matter. In fact, it is better if it has no secondaries. And here's why. The primary stat of a mod will always increase with every single level. The secondary ones are the ones that will always kind of vary. So your primary stat is 1. It'll always level up at level 3, level 6, level 9, level 12, and level 15. You want to try and find those 5-dot arrow mods with speed primary, and the cheaper they are, the better. Meaning that if they do not have any secondary stats, while you are losing out on some of those secondary stats, you are going to end up with an arrow mod that has 30 speed.
Yeah.
And you buy it at the cheapest value because the secondary stats don't matter. This game, especially early on, is going to be a game of speed. The higher your speed is, the better chance you have. Again, not 100%. You can always play rock, paper, scissors and beat somebody. But if your speed mods are a little bit better, that gives you a little bit of an advantage. And the easiest way with the least risk is to get those 5-dot arrow mods with a speed primary. So look for those mods in particular.
Right.
If you are going to try for other mods in order to try and get that boost, mods have different colors. They go kind of like a grayish color, then they go a green, blue, I'm missing color here.
Purple.
Purple, that's the one I'm missing. Green, blue, purple, and yellow. And those also equate to a letter. So the gray is going to be E, the green is going to be D, the blue is going to be C, the purple is going to be B, and the yellow is going to be A. What that refers to is essentially the chance that an existing secondary stat is going to level up. At E, you have no secondary stat, so that one is going to level up 0 times for 0 bonus.
Right.
So whatever the base is what you're going to get.
I can demonstrate that.
If you want to, I don't need.
I got it as part of the daily anyway, so
Okay.
I'll just level up a random. Like, here's one. Like you see, I've got a green one that. No, see the green one. It's a D. It's green. It's got 1 secondary stat. Okay.
Yes.
But I'm going to do a gray one. Gray one. This one has protection on it. It's a circle, so I'll upgrade it. I usually upgrade these to 9. So that's what, 2 levels So I upgrade it. It's going to change colors to purple, and then you can see it's got 2 random stats in the bottom, right? So that's kind of how it works. So now it went from the level it was to now a level B mod right there. I don't have any A ones that I ever haven't already used.
That's fine.
But you kind of get the gist of it.
Yeah, and you can get different colors even at level 1. So that's what you're looking at, right? The letters will refer to how many secondary stats there are. They're not tied with the level of the mod. But at level 3, you get either 1 secondary stat, or if there's already 1 secondary stat, that one will get leveled up.
Right.
So, for example, if you see a mod that is green, level 1, and has a speed secondary stat, which is listed there under the secondary stats, you have a 100% chance that will get leveled up 1 time. Beyond that 1 time, you have 0 chances that it's going to get leveled up. Okay, so if you come across a mod that has 5 speed and is green, you can buy that one, level it up, and it will be 1 level higher. So if it was +5, you can get anywhere from a +8 to a +10. Leveling up on a 5-dot mod can vary between +3 and +5 increase on the stat in speed.
Someone said, should new players wait to buy mods with credits until they unlock the final credit heist tier?
So ideally, yes.
Yeah.
But this one is one that I'll say is a little bit of situational play. If you are trying to compete for the top, we mentioned top 200 being kind of that minimum standard for any new player in order to keep their account moving at a really good pace. If you are trying to compete at the much higher levels, like 50 plus top 50 and even top 20, you may want to get some speeds early, or some mods early with higher speeds. So you can spend credits on it, but again, with specific uses. You always run the risk, especially with credits, that you're going to buy a mod that isn't going to level up the way you want. So we mentioned green mods will level up 1 time 100% of the time. Beyond that, it's not going to level up.
Right.
If you go to a blue mod, which is level C, they're going to have 2 secondary stats. If one of those is speed, you have a chance of leveling it up at level 3. You have a chance of leveling it up at level 6. So that's 2 different chances of leveling it up, but they're 2 independent chances. So you have a 50% chance the first time, you have a 50% chance the second time. So you have in total a 50% chance of it going up at least 1 time, but you also have a 25% chance of it going up twice. So blue mods are actually very useful, especially at early levels. When you go on to the next level, so for example, if you go to your purple mods, which is going to be 3 secondary stats, level B, you'll have 3 different chances to level it up at level 3, level 6, and level 9. However, each one only gives you a 33% chance.
Right.
So now you have a 33% chance of it going up once. You have a 0.166666% chance of it going up twice. And you have like almost an 8% chance of it going up 3 times. This is why we say that this is more for high level. It is very difficult for a lower player to risk these kind of things, and if you hit the jackpot, it's great. If you fall short, you have to see whether or not this mod was worth it. Is a mod with +5 secondary speed just at level 1, does that improve your roster? If it improves your roster, no matter what happens with the leveling, it is a worthwhile mod, and you get the chance for it to improve. But if all of your characters already have, let's say, +11 mods, which is very unlikely, but let's just suppose all of your characters have this +11 mod on its triangle, and you see a mod with +4 in your mod shipments, and you're thinking about buying it, keep in mind that there's a very high chance that your mod is not going to be useful because it needs to level up at least twice in order to compete with your +11, which means that you only have, if it's a purple mod, you have only a 16% chance that this mod is going to be beneficial. So is using the credits on this particular mod worth only a 16% chance for increase? And so this is why we say mods is more of an end game. It really is going to be more about looking at your roster and whether or not a particular mod increases your roster to the point where it's actually beneficial.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the answer is going to be no. unless the base stat is better than what you already have.
Or close to. Like, say he was at 10 and yours is at 11, but it's an A mod. Yeah, you might want to do it. So but something you have to gauge, and we have a video for that. I think we've really pounded home mods, but I don't want to make this stream all about just mods and stuff.
Yeah, and again, this is all just early game, right? We want you to build your roster and then be competitive for the length of the game. If you don't focus on your entire roster, you'll have certain characters that are going to be great right now, and you are going to fall flat on your face as you get higher up. And that's where sometimes some of the frustration comes, because there are new players that we know that have spent a lot on mods, not enough on characters. And as new content comes out, they are not prepared at all for it. And we don't want you guys to be in that position. There is a high value, especially in the current state of the game, for having a lot of diversity on your roster.
It's something that they're pushing too.
Yeah. Because there always have been like characters that haven't been utilized a lot.
People it was like that for a long time. We had characters like, what's the point of having this character? And then now with light side, dark side, territory battles, territory wars, I mean, all this stuff has come into play to where you need a bigger roster. Plus, you need bigger rosters for certain factions to unlock legendary characters. It's where the direction of the game is going. So that's why we're really pushing the fact that you need to just get groups of factions and characters each time, and then certain types of characters. So, that's why we're saying don't farm Ugnaught, don't farm Cup. There's certain characters you just don't touch, unless you have nothing on.
And this is primarily, again, once you hit level 85, right, and you max out your characters, you're able to get to your max level. You'll have some characters at 7-star. Then the strategy starts to change. The strategy is not static for your entire gameplay.
Nope.
It's always relevant to where you are. So this is really directed at people that are below, like, level 60. Or even in that, like, 60 to maybe even 80 range where they're leveling. That is the range where you're focusing on, because that is where you can really make or break your roster if you're not focusing and you're maximizing during that time period in order to boost your roster. And then the last thing as you go to the left side is your guilds.
Hold on. Damn emu emulators being stupid. Come on.
It's all good. So, the guilds are fairly straightforward. Guilds can really be how you can build your roster with the help of other people. So, if you're working with a guild, you can get a lot of additional benefits as you're moving along. Every day you have in your activities, you'll see that there is a daily activities tab to it. It'll tell you what you need to do every day. Again, you got to do those every single time. The other thing is that when you go to your guild activities, the guild activities are going to be what you are working together with your guild. And as you are working together with your guild, you can get additional bonuses in order to boost your roster. One of those things is making sure that you spend at least 600 energy every single day. Now, you can spend 600 energy every single day by doing 150 crystal energy refresh. You do not need to do more than that. So energy refreshes. So there are, again, two different types of energy: regular energy and cantina energy. Regular energy will refresh at a rate of 1 every 6 minutes. You will also get a boost of energy around, and it'll a little bit vary based on whether or not you're in whether you're in daylight savings or not, but just somewhere either around 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. you get your first boost. Around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. you'll get your second boost, and between like 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. you'll get your third boost. Each of those boosts will give you 45 regular energy. You also get 1 additional cantina energy boost between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. depending again on daylight savings. You'll get a 45 energy cantina boost. And that one will go towards your cantina energy. Cantina energy refreshes at a rate of 1 every 10 minutes, or 12 minutes. So you want to make sure that you're planning out your energy. You're using it all. If you use all of your energy, then you can go ahead and do your 150 crystal energy refresh, and in total you will have more than 600 energy spent in a day. If you are in a guild where everybody is doing that, you will get more and more guild tokens. And guild tokens are something that you can get through if you go through the guild tab, you'll be able to see it. The guild tab has a few different aspects. One of them, and I know Ranger's bringing up his gameplay and everything.
Yes, it's pissing me off.
So the guild screen has one area called raids. Raids are going to be where you and your guildmates will go and fight against either a Rancor, which is kind of the lower level raid, or an AAT raid, which is a tank. You'll be fighting against the tank. That's the higher end raid of the two. The Rancor is going to be the one where you have more tiers, so you can adjust with what your difficulty is. The AAT raid only has 2 levels, either normal or heroic AAT, and you just kind of slog through that normal one if you can. They have different amount of guild tokens that you need in order to activate the particular raid. As you get your 600 energy, there is 2 different currency that you can get. One is for you, one is for your guild. You get guild tokens based on your daily activities, or the guild activity, and how much you do of it. So each day, there may be light side battle, there might be dark side battles, there may be hard nodes, there may be arena battles, there could be galactic war nodes. Based on how many you do of each one, you get certain points. Your guild accumulates those points. Based on how many points you accumulate, there's different tiers of rewards, and your guild will then get guild tokens that you can spend in the guild shop. In addition, your 600 energy that you spend translates to 600 raid tickets. And you get raid tickets for the Rancor, and you get raid tickets for the AAT. So every day, you can contribute 600 raid tickets to your guild. If you're in a guild with 50 people, that means that you can get up to 30,000 raid tickets every single day. And based on what level you are, each raid tier costs a different amount in order to activate. So Rancor, again, with so many different tiers, you can go with the lower tiers and start building up on the lower ones and start building up your squads. AAT is going to require a lot more, but there's only one tier that on low levels you'll be doing, which will be the normal AAT. But each one will require different squads, which is why we're saying that we want you to keep your roster diverse.
You know what I want right now? I want this damn emulator to put up the goddamn game. What is this?
It hates you.
I don't know what this is. It crashed, and then so I reloaded it, right? So now it's just sitting there staring at me like, hey, Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, what do you think? How about now? How about now? How about now? My God in heaven. Oh, thank you. Finally, now I guess after yelling at you and hurting your feelings, now you want to work. Because you're just going to put all this good information and I can't even show you what it looks like. No, it's stupid.
Yeah. Immortal Womprath says that I am out of touch with my whale roster, and he is exactly right. For the purposes of this stream,
is secretly a whale. I'm starting to believe that.
I am not a whale.
He's a doctor. I mean, come on, guys.
I spent a total of $100 on this game in like the first 3 months or 4 months that it came out until the first May the 4th. So spread out within the first 6 months, I spent a total of $100. I think of which $60 wasn't even mine. It was gifted iTunes cards, and the other I think $30 or $35 was during an event that they had in order to save the environment with Ewoks. So.
All right, yeah, I got it up.
So that's my spending, just so you know. So I'm pretty much free to play since May of 2015 or 2016. So yeah, I mean, and the initial amount I wasn't spending it properly either. So
all right, so I got it.
But for this stuff, we try to be objective for a new player because it is a lot different when you're at the higher levels like we are. So that's why we always say it's important to be careful when you're getting advice to make sure that they're giving you advice for a new player and not where their roster is. Simply put, if you ask somebody a question about your roster and they don't ask to see your roster and they give you a general answer, I would say maybe 90% of the time you should be skeptical of it because a lot of answers are going to be roster dependent, where you are in the game, how your roster is based, unless it's a general question like what do I need to do, what characters are useful for X, where it's a little bit more objective. So just little hints of things when you guys are getting help. Make sure that you do have people that you trust. And I can tell you certain people you can definitely trust. If you come onto the RSG, most of the people are really reliable. If you talk to like somebody like Warrior, if you talk to Arnold, they know their stuff too. The Game Changers, Crazy, Nukin, all of these guys, they know their stuff. So make sure you're getting stuff from useful sources. But looking
resources you will.
Yes. And so looking at again the guild screen now, you have the raids.
There's the raids. You can do the Rancor. You can do the heroic tank raid. As Finn was talking about, you can see it.
You'll be doing the normal, but yeah. Don't go into the heroic. If you guys do the heroic, just so you know.
Oh yeah, there's normal and heroic. I forgot about that. Yeah. So there's two.
The highest tier for both the Rancor and the AAT. They have a highest tier. The highest tier is on a timer. So if you don't beat it within 2 days, you lose all of your tokens. The other ones do not have a timer. They just reset your roster every day and limit you to 5 attempts. So that is the way you want to go, because the other ones are fairly difficult, especially if you're in a newer guild.
Then you have your guild events, which is for the Dark Side territory battles and territory wars. And this is where you'll go here for those. And then you can go, you have a guild search function where you can kind of search for guild if you're looking for one. And then manage, really, it just shows you everybody on the roster, what they've done for the day, that kind of thing, who's what. Gives you a list of all your guild members. Exchange, where it has, this is, gear that you're requesting. People are also requesting gear that you can donate to one another. And then you've got the guild store. Important store. Finn, you broke down the guild store, I think, already, didn't you?
We haven't gone into the
guild store. Let me get out of there.
Because it just changed now, too. So, especially the guild store, if you guys watch older videos, it's going to look completely different than what you might see in a video that's even like a month old at this point.
Okay. So, did you want to go into the guild store, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, we can go into the guild store. It's going to look different even on yours, by the way.
Why?
Because at lower levels, you don't even see some of the gear.
Just so well, yeah, so but
like
you
on my low level alt
account. I mean, you can kind of talk about it.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, the guild store will have a few things. Conceptually, it's going to be the same no matter what. However, as you level up, the store looks a little bit different. In particular, the gear that you get. So there are going to be 6 nodes, essentially, that are going to have character shards. Those are going to give you can spend your currency in order to get particular characters, and there's going to be pretty much 6 of them at pretty much all levels. The other thing is going to be above that, you'll see that there's a lot of different gear. Now, these gears are going to be semi-useful. Again, you want to look at that green dot to see whether or not you need it. You want to make sure you explore to see whether or not this is a crafted piece that you have the mats for, or whether it's just a fully crafted and that you don't have. So always make sure that you're looking at the details of the different items, but you can also get gear here. Now, there are some characters that are exclusive to this guild store. You can kind of see on Ranger's screen, Colonel Stark, he is one of them. There is another character, Logray, who is pretty much only available through this. So there are different characters that are only available in the guild store. Early on, despite how much I think we've talked about making sure that your characters are diverse, right? You want to make sure you focus on getting your particular arena squad as high up as possible. And there are certain characters you may want to start farming from here, but almost all of the characters, we named 2 characters, almost all of the other characters are going to be available in other aspects of the game, in other areas. Gearing up characters makes a big difference in this game. Again, minimally, you want a set of mods. We already described, you can probably get about half of them, if not 4 of 6 or even 5 of 6, getting 5-dot mods from your high level mods, and then you may get like a few smaller mods. But mods, you want to make sure you have a full set. Gear, you want to always be pushing. Once you get to the gear level 7, which is when you get that purple level of gear, you get protection. It can make a big difference in arena. So gear is something you want to farm early on with these particular guild store. Now, we didn't go into too much detail about the energy. We talked about how energy refreshes and how you get energy. What do you spend your energy on? That is the major question. And with the changes in the game, the answer that Grande Patron said is the correct one. Hard nodes.
A basic.
Do a basic. The answer is hard nodes. Use hard nodes in order to farm the gear that you need. So if you go to a character that needs a particular gear, you can click on that character. You can go to the box. You can click. Yeah. So on any character, you can go through. You can see those boxes where in the middle that show you the 6 pieces of gear that they need in order to get to the next level, unless you're at gear 12. Then you click on it. It'll show you what gear you need, as well as what are the different components that are required in order to make this. Sometimes it's just a single one. Sometimes it'll be smaller pieces. You go then into the smaller pieces and you keep on going down until you get to the lowest level. And then there is an option for you to find out where you can find that particular gear item. What you want to do then is farm the hard node, which will be a value of 12 energy or more. You want to farm that hard node in order to get that particular item. Sometimes there are only going to be regular nodes. If that's the case, that's fine, but that's also going to be much more late game. When you're in the early stages, almost all of the gear that you need is going to be available in a hard node. So you go to the hard node and you farm that hard node for that gear. You will get shards of a character as well as a chance to get a gear. Now, obviously, the counter side is, well, if I'm farming a hard node, then I don't have as many chances in order to get that gear item. You are correct. That is why you then spend your guild currency in your guild store in order to get gear. So you're getting some gear from your hard nodes, you're improving your characters, and you're supplementing your characters with gear through the guild store. And that's how this all kind of interrelates. And as you are leveling up, your primary focus is your arena squad. That is the key. You don't need to worry about leveling up other characters. The income of guild tokens is not a lot. So if you find yourself, let's say, with 2,000 guild tokens, and your arena squad is maxed out, and you're level 65, let's say, and you need another couple levels in order to get a particular gear item available. You'll see that some of the gears are green boxes. Sometimes they have yellow boxes. If you have a yellow box, that means you have the items, but your character hasn't reached that level yet. If it's a green box and you have the level, you have the items, you can potentially level it up. You don't always need to do it. You don't want to waste gear on a character you don't need. But the green means that you can level up that gear item. If it doesn't have any plus sign, it can either be because you haven't reached the required level in order to level up that gear item, or that you don't have the items. But if it's because you don't have the items, then you can farm it on your arena squad. If it is because you haven't reached the level, as soon as you hit the level, you'll be able to spend it. You can go to the next gear level, and you may need additional items that you can now get from the gear store. So don't feel like if you've accumulated guild tokens that you need to spend them, because you don't want to spend them unnecessarily and then come up on a guild shops when you log in, and there's 3 different things that you can buy in order to boost your characters, and you don't have any guild tokens. You will run out of guild tokens. Guarantee you, if you start leveling up your main characters, eventually you will run out of tokens. And once you get to the point where your arena is maxed out, remember you still have your scoundrels. You have your characters for the Rancor raid. You have your character for the AAT raid. You might have something for territory battles. You have more than enough that you will have to worry about in terms of late game gearing, and all of the currency that you may save up while leveling up will come into play later on. So don't worry. Don't think that you're saving too much at any point.
Right. Now, I can tell you just for example how I use energy. Especially as a new player, you're going to have a plan, but just as a way. I mean, some people always ask me why do I have like excess energy. When I get my 600, then I'm done for the day because normally I've gone way over it, right? I usually go way over 600. So usually I'll wait for my reset. So I'll get 2 more refills of this energy here, and I've been farming General Veer. So at 12 o'clock, I will go in and pop. And been doing his nodes. You can see he was 99 out of 100. I was 1 shard away, Finn. That really sucks. So I'll have to wait till tomorrow, I'm not spending 50 crystals for that.
Yes, don't spend crystals on that either.
Yeah.
Don't refresh hard nodes.
But what I've been doing for my cantina, right? So you can see it's 112 out of 144. By the time midnight comes around tonight, I will have this at 144. So when the reset happens, right, I've been popping 3, because I get 300. So 300 crystals I use, get this way higher, and then I've been farming Veteran Han and Veteran Chewie. This kind of goes into the plan, so because I know Ray's coming, and I'm trying to farm as much as possible, so I've been using my crystals here from winning in Squad Arena and ship, all that stuff. Everywhere I've been getting crystals has been going right back into Cantina. I just let my energy build up because energy builds up way faster than Cantina energy. So like today I've spent a ton on energy. But I'll get the 2 refreshes. When midnight comes around, I'll use all of it on, Veers and then other characters. And then I'll whatever left over, I'll do some gear and stuff. So that's the way to do it. And it keeps me on top of my 600 that I'm doing for the guild easily. So you have to have a plan with how you use it and when you use it, right? I try to use my Cantina energy, before, right at the resets, because I'll be at 144. I'll do my 300, crystal uses, and then do all my energy, and then it'll build back up, and then I can do it again and again and again. So I keep the cycle going of getting the max effect of energy. And then sometimes it's like I really need stuff, so I'm popping 50 energy crystals sometimes when I'm trying to level up stuff. So really try to be strategic with your energy. Understand when it fills up, how fast it fills up. When you get refreshes will really help you maximize the effectiveness of the energy, especially when you're leveling. All those points going toward all your leveling experience, that's going to be really key.
Yep. And I think we'll probably go a little bit more into that too. So we've kind of gone through the basics all the way from right to left.
Use a basic.
There's again, one of the things that will always happen if you guys ask around is that the opinions will vary on certain things.
Sure,
and you saw that a little bit with
there's nothing saying we're necessarily like right, but I mean we can only tell you from from experience what actually is going to experience with dealing with other people, conversations, what they say, combining that. It's all relative, but we're pretty darn right about a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you always want to make sure that you're coming from, especially when somebody is if you guys are giving advice to newer players, and I'm sure you're trying to get friends to play, and especially right now, you're going to see people on the forums, if you guys are active on there, if you're active on the Reddit, if you're active on Discord, you're going to see people that are going to be asking you for advice, because you have, especially for the longer time players, if you guys are watching, then you have a roster that's well beyond what they're at, so they're going to look to you and ask for advice. Make sure you're thinking about where their roster is, right? They have almost no characters at 7 stars. So getting a character to 7 star is going to be really important for them, because that's the only way they're going to be eligible for a heroic Rancor raid, right? The other importance for the raids, like we mentioned earlier, raids, especially at the only at the top level, so at maximum Rancor and at maximum heroic AAT, you get character shards for 2 characters that are very, very useful in this game. You get your Han Solo from Rancor, and you get General Kenobi from AAT. Both of those are super useful characters in the game right now.
Oh, yeah. So we can kind of... General Kenobi and Han... OG Han, you get shards from the Rancor.
And we call him OG Han as original gangster Han.
There's so many Hans in this game, we have to give them nicknames, damn it, okay? Old Gangster Han. This one right here, Han Solo. From episode 4, okay? General Kenobi from the Clone Wars, because there's an old Ben Kenobi, but General Kenobi, he's from the Heroic 8, or the AAT raid. I keep saying heroic. I'm sorry. Now, some of these characters you cannot farm. You can only unlock them either through marquee or legendary events or special events. Commander Luke is one. R2-D2 is one. Grand Admiral Thrawn is one. Who else? Mother Talzin is one. Emperor Palpatine is one. Darth.
Did you say Yoda?
I haven't said yet. Grandmaster Yoda is one, right? There's some characters that you can only get in certain areas, like Hermit Yoda and the Wampa are in the Territory War store, right? Or Territory Battle store. So you have to understand where some of these characters come from. The rest of them are pretty much, you farm them from different areas. But you have to understand, to get these characters, you have to either do a raid. So there's 2 that are raid, and the rest are legendary or marquee, and then you eventually become in a node. There's a cycle to it. But, if you want characters like R2-D2, the Emperor, Yoda, stuff like that, you have to farm certain groups of characters. Like, to get Commander Luke, you need Farm Boy Luke, you need Han, you need Princess Leia, you need Old Man Kenobi. Who else do you need? That's 4. I lost track. Stormtrooper Han, something like that. There's 5 that you need.
It's Stormtrooper Han, Leia, R2, Old Ben, and Farm Boy.
Farm Boy Luke. Okay, yeah. So you need R2-D2. Well, how do you get R2-D2? Well,
you need Empire.
You need Empire characters. So you need 5 Empire characters to unlock R2. So then you can go do the Luke event. So you can get Commander Luke. So that's kind of how it works. And we have one coming up for Rey. We're pretty sure that you're going to need Finn and R2 and BB-8.
Not R2,
but Finn,
BB-8.
Rey, BB-8, Veteran Han, and Veteran we call him Viagra. But some of these, that's how you have to kind of understand where some of these characters come from. So when we say we want a diverse roster, there's a reason. If we say get 5 Empire characters and get them up, is so you can get R2, so then you can get your other characters up, so you can get Luke and so forth. Why did we say Phoenix? Well, what does Phoenix get you a chance to get? Thrawn and Emperor Palpatine. Those are 2 characters on your Empire team that are pretty powerful that you can use toward you getting your R2. So this
and
all
partially
has
Grandmaster Yoda, because 2 of them are Jedi.
Yeah,
too.
So you've got Kanan and Ezra that you can use for 3 more Jedi, and then you're good to go for getting Grandmaster Yoda. So there is a method to the madness of what we're trying to tell you to do. Yeah, let's not talk about Thrawn. Thrawn hurt.
I think we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
I don't. I don't want to relive Thrawn.
No, we won't. We don't have to talk about
Thrawn. Really
how...
hurt me, Finn. That really hurt me.
I know.
I took much damage.
There are a lot of characters in the game. There have been a lot of characters added very recently to the game.
Yeah.
There are also certain characters that have a lot of popularity that are not very easy to get in the game, that if you focus on too much, you will set back your entire roster, such as Commander Luke and the incoming Jedi Rey. So I think what we can do tomorrow is go through the characters and kind of break down how we get them and whether or not they're worthwhile and where they're useful.
Right.
I think we can do a full character breakdown tomorrow.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, and if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, just make sure you put it in the comments of this video. We're trying to steer you in the best direction to build your roster for the long term. If you focus too much on little things and you don't focus on the big picture, you might get a little bit of a benefit now. Your roster will fall behind long term. And one of the biggest problems that we have seen is lack of diversity in your roster. If your roster is not diverse enough, then the problem is that you're not going to be able to accomplish a lot of what's going on in the game. And in Arena at lower levels, we mentioned swgoh.gg, swgoh.gg, and their meta report in order to kind of see the top teams. Those are for players that pretty much have everything unlocked in the game. Lower levels, you're not going to be able to get R2 very easily. You're not going to be able to get Commander Luke very easily. You're not going to be able to get BB-8 very easily.
And that's okay.
You're not going to be able to get Zetas very easily. And it's fine. But the one thing to keep in mind is that the meta report that you see there that tells you kind of the top characters doesn't apply to you. You're going to see your Arena Shard may have top squads of droids. And droids have been played out for quite a while, but a droid team at lower levels can do immense amounts of damage. It takes a while to farm. There's a couple of them that overlap in the Arena shop, so it's not very easy to get them. But you'll also see that some people have Phoenix, and Phoenix is at the top. But Phoenix is not going to be on the top of the arena shard that Ranger and I are on.
Oh,
so,
no.
So take all the information in context, right? If you just look at information right now and you just kind of go to the general one, keep in mind, again, this game is more than 2 years old. A lot of the information that you're going to be seeing is for players that have played at least 1 year and have a lot of this material done. If you're coming in as a new player, it's not going to apply to you the same. You're not going to worry about Zetas. You're not going to be in a position to worry about the meta report because you're not going to have General Kenobi. You're not going to really have Zetas. You're not going to have Commander Luke. You're not going to have R2. Most of you will have maybe a few months, hopefully, assuming you get into a good guild, before you can get Han Solo unlocked. So keep everything in context as we're giving you information. We're putting it in the context of if you are just starting out the game, if you're like level 80 and below, you're still building your roster, you're trying to find the direction, that is the direction we're going to give you. Once you hit level 85, you have yourself a guild, your guild is making progress, then things start to shift, things start to get more intense, things start to get more advanced, you actually worry about all of the details on mods, and that's when your level kind of increases.
And that's when you win.
Yes. I still don't win at this game.
What do you mean?
Dark side territory battles kicks my butt.
I don't think it's kicking everybody's butt. I hate to break it to you, but I don't think anybody's immune from that nonsense.
So there are always going to be things that are difficult in the game. Don't get bogged down. All right.
I didn't see any questions really in there. I think we've covered quite a bit like we've done the other days. Anything else you want to add, Finn?
No, just make sure that if you guys have questions, you either put them in the comments of the videos so we can address them the next day. We've been reading the comments and a lot of you guys have given us positive feedback, so we appreciate it. Even if some of the older players disagree with of what we're saying, it's fine. I hope you guys see the reasoning behind it. It may not be the same logic you would go, but we do have a reasoning why we give advice in a particular way. And so hopefully you guys can at least see that. We're always open to having discourse on that kind of stuff. So you can hop onto the Discord and talk with us and figure out why we say particular things, why we say Phoenix is better initially than Scoundrels, why we say mods, you don't need max level mods all the way through. All that stuff we're always able to talk to you guys about on our Discord. So hop on that if you guys have questions.
All right. So I think we'll end the stream there. If you guys like what you see, of course, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. That really helps us out, helps the channel grow. We do have this stream tonight at Eastern where we break down all the latest Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news and updates and tell you what it all means.
And there's news already breaking.
Yeah, we're about to go look at that and be like, oh my God, my sweet Jesus. Like, what is happening? I don't know. I really hate this stupid TIE.
Well, we're wrapping up, so
I know, but this damn TIE fighter, mine never dodges. Their dodges. What is happening? It happened. It did it again. Yeah, I bet you use the basic. Look at that. Just dodge, dodge, dodge. Dodge, dodge, dodge. But mine gets wiped out immediately. All of them.
Oh, so it reminds me, as we are kind of wrapping up here, there is a concept in this game you'll hear. It's called RNG. RNG means random number generator. It's used in games as a reference to the fact that all these actions usually generate some kind of thing in the background, usually some kind of number that determines the chance. So on like a 1 to 100 scale, what is the chance that something happens? It generates a number. Does it fall within the range where something dodges or the range that you will hit? Then there's also like stuff like crit. So you'll hear people saying that they're angry with RNG. That's what it's referring to.
Yeah, random number generator is what that
is. And no matter what level you are or what level your collection score is, RNG is bound to screw you at some point, and don't get discouraged.
Yeah, you just sit there. But I mean, I was sitting there like, mine got wiped out. I'm like, well, okay. And then I'm like shooting his, is like dodge, 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 dodge. Like, what the hell? I know RNG is strong, but my God, the dark side took over that pilot. Ooh-wee. All right. Thank you all for being here. We'll be on tonight at 8 Eastern. We got a lot of stuff to look at and get ready for you guys tonight. And then we will be back here tomorrow at 12. And we're going to be covering what tomorrow, Finn?
Tomorrow we'll be focusing mainly on the characters. We'll go through the different characters. what their value is in the game, if it's something you need to worry about. Obviously, we're going to try
factions probably too, right?
Yeah, we'll go through the different factions and kind of explain more about the characters. I know those are kind of the things you look at first, especially as Star Wars fans coming in to play this game. You see all the different characters and you try to go after characters you like. That is something you can do. If that's what you enjoy, you can do it. But if you're focusing on trying to min-max, which is what a lot of competitive players will do. You're trying to do the best you can in this game. We'll go through all the characters, what their value is, and what you should focus on kind of in what stage of the game.
Sounds good. All right. On behalf of myself and Dr. Finn Medicine Woman, thanks for stopping by. And we will see you on tonight. And then we'll see you tomorrow at 12 for the continuation of the series. Y'all be good. See you later.